Welcome back, everyone, to another video of In Between the Sticks. I'm your host, Austin, joined by Drew and KP, aka Kale Pomeroy, up in the top right corner. We are so sorry for the delay on this video, and it's been a long time, but we are so excited to be back. And we have a great video planned for you. We're going to be breaking down a lot of news and clips that we got coming out of the Titans minicamp over the last few weeks, and what we're excited about with the team, what we've heard, and some other interesting news that are going around the league. So, again, we thank you for tuning in. If you like the video, make sure to leave a comment down below what you want us to talk about, or just show some support and hit the subscribe button. First thing, most important thing, Titans minicamp been going on for the last couple of weeks. It's over now. We're 4 weeks from training camp. We have a lot of information that has come out from a lot of trusted sources. Teron Davenport, the boy Locked On Titans, that have been in person every single day getting us clips and information from what's been going on. We're pretty excited. Pretty good news coming out of there. I think Titans fans are pretty happy with what they've heard. I see Kel rocking the Cam Ward jersey. Someone's excited.
Let's go. I mean, it's hard not to be excited right now. And it's also hard not to be overexcited because we maybe did that a little bit last year and we see what happened. So, but anytime you have a new, somewhat of a regime change, you bring in a new young quarterback who, honestly, we really haven't done this since the hype of Mariota. Because I don't count Levis or any of those guys having the same type of hype. So, yeah, a lot to be excited about. Obviously, a lot of information coming at us just in a few short days of minicamp. But it's the first real action of football that we're seeing. Rookie minicamp is just a orientation. Like, how do you become a pro? Like, how do you consistently do that on a daily basis? That wasn't too much competition. It was just kind of like, let's get to know each other. Let's create this core foundation of leaders, which I do think they hit on in the draft. And with the guys that they brought in free agency. I mean, look, you see videos of mic'd up with Femi Oladejo and just stuff like that. Like, there's a lot of good things coming out of camp, just in terms of the leaders that we have, the coaching staff, all the way from Borgonzi all the way down. And it's really good to see. So that's kind of where we're at. I mean, and to address one thing too that everybody's going to be talking about, the Big Jeff stuff. Like, he was there, he was at minicamp, which was mandatory. Has slimmed down quite significantly. I think he's down about 20 pounds, and he looks good. I mean, he looks Aaron Donald type scary. So hopefully we can get some production that is better than last year and potentially better than the year before, because we know the type of player he can be. So a lot of good stuff. I don't know, Drew, if you had anything that just jumped out at you regarding minicamp, and kind of dive right in here.
For me, it's not necessarily specific players or coaches, I guess. One thing that was a big talk of town at the beginning of minicamp was Callahan's new offseason program that he started, splitting up, the team into, I think it was like 8 or so different teams of like 8 players or something like that. And just allowing them to, compete while still being in, voluntary mini camp where pads aren't on. Yeah, you gotta get the guys' competitive juices flowing somehow. And I think, it's kind of a thing that we missed last year a little bit. Roller talked about it a couple of times, throughout the last year, that especially quarterback room wasn't any competition for the most part, right? That it was Levis's job from day one. And that might have played a factor in the way that he played. But this year is, the complete opposite. We draft Cam with the first pick. Most people would expect your first overall pick to be the guy. And Callahan and other brass figures up there, came out and said, you know what, there's going to be competition. Everybody hates hearing it. It's just the go-to saying. When you look at that quarterback room, I mean, obviously it's just talking about Levis. Like, Brandon Allen ain't winning that job. But I think it also just develops, a sense of, especially in Cam, that it might be his on paper, but he's got to, and it's pretty much, Kale, and I know we're talking about it here in a little bit with like the new Titans videos and stuff, that a lot of the rookies are talking about is their first goal and coming in this offseason was to win the respect of their teammates. And I think Cam, embodies that fully. As you can tell, he's out here talking trash to Jeff Simmons during practice. That's insane to do for a rookie.
While getting play calls is nice.
Yeah, and I think he's just setting the tone of, we're gonna compete, and I love it. I think you definitely have seen in videos and in interviews just how much more together this team feels than any other team that we've had recently. And you can see in the videos of when they're practicing and stuff. They're going hard, which is obviously great to see. But right now everything's on air, so to me, it don't mean nothing until the pads come on.
Yeah,
I think we had a culture problem last year. I think we had a lack of leaders in a lot of rooms last year, and to be honest, that's what happens when you have a coaching change, right? That's what happens when you fire your head coach and you bring in a brand new guy who's never been a head coach before. You got guys that aren't going to buy into the system. You got guys that are going to be stubborn, especially veterans. They don't want to hear about no rookie, no new head coach. They don't want to do that. They don't care, right? We had a culture problem, and I think that there's evidence with that, with how much you've heard Bergonzi and Callahan talk about culture and leadership all off season long. That has been one of the most important things they've hammered all off season long, is fixing the leadership in the locker room, fixing the culture in the locker room, and actually having a locker room that wants to be there. I think that's the most important thing, and I think that shows in the draft with who we drafted. We didn't always in certain spots draft the maybe like most talented player available, but we drafted someone that wants to be there and that's going to come in and be somebody that's going to make a difference, whether that's on the field or off the field. So it's hard to not be excited about that. And like Drew said, everything's been on air, so it's hard to get a good look at what's really happening. You're not going to be able to say, yep, Cam Ward's going to have an all-pro season this year based off him throwing in a T-shirt and shorts. So,
especially 7-on-7. 7-on-7 is made for the quarterback to stand out.
Yeah, and wide receivers, man. I know we've heard a lot about the wide receiver core. I'm ready. I'll be ready to see what they look like in pads. But I think so far, just from the offseason standpoint, I think Bergonzi and Callahan accomplished what they were looking for when it came to kind of rebuilding this roster. This roster's mentality and the way they go about the game of football and the way they go about playing for the Tennessee Titans, which is great.
Yeah, I think, kind of like piggybacking off of what you're saying as far as what they're bringing in from the top down. You bring in a guy like Borgonzi, who obviously has had a ton of experience in an organization that you can only hope to emulate at this point. Like, they are the pinnacle of what you're trying to be in the NFL right now. That being the Chiefs. And so starting with Borgonzi, bringing him in, and then him having this plan that he's laid out, and then continuing to, at least as we've continued to say, on paper, show what they're trying to do. And so then you start to bring in coaches like the special teams coach, Fassel.
Yep.
And then you're bringing in guys like, Tyler Lockett and some of these other veterans that understand it. Cody Barton, I think, is somebody that we will be pleasantly surprised by. And then obviously we know the leader that Jeff is. People don't always agree with how he leads. He may not always be the one that's out in the front lines in terms of speaking too much. He is just nose down, works hard, knows what he needs to do to be ready. And he's going to do that. And I feel like he leads more by example. But then you bring in this rookie class. And to me, off the top of my head, there may be a couple that are a little bit more in the background, but they're all leaders in their own way. And there's just a very intentional piece of, like you say, Austin, that culture that they're building. And that's what you have to do. Yes, veterans are important, but it's also good to have young leaders, because that's the future of your franchise when these veterans are gone. So I think it's a really good mixture, and everything we're seeing right now is very positive. So that's where I'm at. And people are going to be mad about Jeff not being at the voluntary stuff. He did what he needed to do. We've never had to worry about Jeff's effort or Jeff's this or Jeff's that. Anytime that we're worried about him, it's because maybe we see a little bit of a lack of production. And in my opinion, that's come from maybe playing a little bit too heavy these last couple of years. Like he's saying, he wanted to get down. He's been nagged with injuries, and he gets doubled every play. The
lack of talent.
I'm not trying to make excuses for him, but yes. So when you have a lack of talent And you have a guy like Harold Landry, God bless him, we loved him. He was great for us in the beginning, but after his injury, he wasn't quite the same. Like, you just don't have, and as much as we love Sweat, and I'm very excited to see what he's going to do, he's not going to come in and like just get a bunch of sacks. He's the other guy pushing the front of the pocket. You got to have that help, and hopefully Femi's going to start providing some of that and some of these veterans. But there's a lot you can go into with that. It's just I don't think there's a need to be worried about Jeff right now. People only hold out of mandatory stuff for money reasons, so you knew that wasn't going to happen. The fact that people doubted he was going to show up to mandatory was crazy. I think we can just move past that.
Here's my thing. I see what you're saying. And I don't think anyone had a doubt in Jeffrey Simmons. Like, the dude is.
I understand their need.
He's
for
a behemoth.
concern.
He's a behemoth of a man.
Yeah,
like, we're not worried about Simmons showing up like out of shape like Treylon Burks. But what we are concerned with is last year Callahan didn't do this whole. He probably should have done it last year, but he came into a team that had some already savvy veterans.
Well, I think there's a lack of experience,
and Landry, and
coaching there.
Yeah, definitely. But after last season, I think him and Denard Wilson both sat down and said, "Okay, we need to redo what we didn't do last year, and that is to build a real culture here." And I think that was step one of the offseason. And here's my thing. It is very common for veterans to not show up for like not mandatory camp. That is 100% okay. But you know what those teams are? You know who those teams are? The teams that are winning, right? The teams that are winning. We were the worst team in the NFL last year. We have 91, 92 guys on the roster currently because of the Odakoye doesn't technically count, so we have an extra person compared to everyone else. Why is Jeffrey Simmons the leader of this team? And I get it, he leads by example. Wouldn't that be showing up? You're the only person on the whole roster out of 91 people to not show up. I mean, L'Jarius Sneed's got an active court case going on, and he's showing up. Amani Hooker has no reason to be there, but he's there. I mean, the list goes on and on and on about veterans. Freaking Kevin Zeitler's 38 years old and has been on the team for less than a month, and he was there. I mean, the list. I mean, you got guys that are hurt that are not even on the field that are there. Cushenberry can't participate. Again, I just said Sneed can't participate. Yeah, he's there. I mean, you're the only person on the whole roster to not show up. And again, it's different if you're a winning team and the team doesn't need a culture rebuild, or like, you're recovering from an injury or whatever the case may be. But to be the one single person to not show up on the roster, and you're supposed to be the leader of this football team, I don't know, man. It's not a good look. And like, we know how Jeffrey Simmons is. Like, he is the leader of the team.
Yeah,
like,
I completely get that.
The times without him, like, man, you got to show up
from a fan standpoint. That is the other side of it. Like, it's hard. I do find myself on the fence. Like, I'm very much.
Even if you don't participate, like if it was a whole physical thing, like I don't want to get hurt, I want to wait, like that's fine. But again, everyone else, even that wasn't participating, the old guys, they were still there. They're on the sideline, like getting the rookies ready, like building that culture. And Jeffrey Simmons just missed all of it.
Yeah, and especially bringing in this young core, like that's really where the issue lies. It's like you got a lot of roster turnover, so it's like. Yeah, we don't doubt that you're training. We don't doubt. I mean, obviously, you can see it in his physique now. He's obviously made a lot of effort to change that in the offseason, but it's just like, there's a balance between understanding that he thought that was, the best thing for himself personally, but also it's like, as the leader of this team, there is an expectation that you help these young guys come along. Like, somebody's got to help bring this team together, and we can't throw all that on the shoulders of a rookie quarterback, even though he's probably going to take that on. That's not something that you just want to happen. You have guys like Jeff for that reason. So, he
can take the offense. Cam Ward can take that offense.
Oh, he will.
That offense. But the defense is going to gather around their leader, and Jeffrey Simmons is the leader in the trenches, and he was non-existent.
Yeah.
Like, and Amani Hooker's not a vocal guy. We know that. He's going to sit back there and do his thing and not say much. Devontae Sweat needs to take a big step, hopefully, in the leadership department. But other than that, like, Simmons is the guy. Like, I mean, he's been the guy since he got there.
To his credit, we don't know. We don't know what that's going to look like. But from where we are, it would just feel as though in that leadership and camaraderie part of it, we might be a little bit behind on the defensive side because our leader wasn't there until minicamp. So that's that part of it. However, when he was at minicamp, he's completely engaged. He's working with the young players. So it's just, it's one of those things. We don't have any control over it. We can have opinions about it, but I don't see any need to necessarily worry about Jeff Simmons himself. We just got to hope that this team clicks the way we want it to.
I'll put my piece on it and we can wrap this Simmons talk. For me, I think I was kind of in the vast majority whenever it was happening that was like upset that he wasn't there, right? Like we were just talking about, we're doing all this new culture stuff with the offseason program, and the one guy that's supposed to be our leader now that you have guys like Henry and Byard and AJ and all these guys that are no longer here on the team that were leaders that are gone.
Shout out
It is
J-Rob.
it is him, and to me, I was upset that he wasn't there. But it's like Callahan said, where they asked him if he was upset that he wasn't there, and he said, "No, not really, because I know what I'm gonna get from Jeff."
Yeah.
And I think a lot of pretty much everybody on the team had the same kind of concept with that. I think I would be more upset if he came in to mandatory minicamp looking the same way he did as he ended the season. Now that he came looking the way he does, trimming down, looks so much more athletic, in shape,
and staying to himself. Like,
yeah.
Yes, I completely agree with you. But then if you already have the expectation that he is going to be coming in shape, then your other expectation and the other most important thing is when you come out here, you're the guy, you're the leader. And it's not like he came out to minicamp and just, neglected that part. And he didn't. He showed up. He was the guy we needed him to be. And that's what it is. So,
to be honest, I think having, like we talked about earlier, I think it was that very first practice that Cam started, mouthing back to him.
I think he headbutted him. He got up in his face mask.
Yeah, Jeff started chirping at him. Cam chirped back. I think that's exactly what he's been. I think because my thing with Simmons is he's obviously your defensive leader or whatever.
Yeah.
To me, the way that he's been his whole career, to me, he's more of an enforcer in my eyes than a leader. He's a guy that's going to go out there and hit the dude in the mouth and talk trash and stuff like that. But he's not the guy that, like Kevin Byard, for example, was the leader of a defense.
Yeah, the coach on the field. Yeah.
And I think that's where you have somebody else that is now going to like challenge him for that, not only with Cam, but with somebody that we didn't even mention, Femi.
I was just thinking that
with
too.
how much he's vocal in this Titans video, just in rookie
dude,
camp.
I need him mic'd up.
Stop walking on my field.
Yeah.
Like, bro's a rookie.
Yeah,
dude, you don't look like a rookie though, dude. That dude is yoked.
Which is exactly why.
Oh my god.
Which is exactly why I have on the Freaks jersey. I know you can't see the numbers, but I got on the Freaks jersey because I'm not kidding. Femi is my dude. I'm buying that jersey for show. I'm ready for
now
it.
Now that he changed his number too, you're excited? It's no longer that ugly 53.
007 goes hard.
Anyway, but like now that you have you'll have Jeff, but then you also have Femi now. That's like the younger guy, and I think it's just going to fire everybody up.
Yeah, I think he's the spark plug of the defense. If he can find his way and
he's
going to
be a more
productive pass rusher,
Arden Key type.
I agree. That's a good comparison in my opinion, and you'd hope that talent wise, he's going to be able to raise to a level higher than that. Yeah. But the energy wise, exactly.
Because I mean, they've even came out and said Arden Key isn't as, upbeat and energized as he normally. He's more mature now and like all about his work and stuff. And I think that was a big thing of why he struggled, was because he was kind of the guy trying to be all energy and get everybody up, and that's just not him. And like you said with the draft class, I mean, we just have guys that can lead anybody. I mean, one of them whom is, has been pretty quiet, vocally and stuff, but they're all there working is, Gunner, even Xavier Strepo being undrafted. Like all of our rookies have been there 5 a.m. sitting there being the last guys to leave. It's just, you don't get that stuff very often with a rookie class. And I think that's a great thing. And to round it out, it's what Bergonzi said, right? Where he said, or not Bergonzi, excuse me, Brinker. Where he's talking about, in the future, you can kind of tell who we're going to draft based off of, who we drafted this year, where you're going to look at a guy and say, yeah, that looks like a Titan. That's a guy that's going to come in here and give 110%, no matter what his name is, no matter where he got drafted, that they're going to be good dudes, good football dudes, and just want to put their nose down and get after it.
Yep. I completely agree. I think that's a good way to wrap up that first little tidbit there, and to kind of move into some other things, some funny stuff, some interesting things. Obviously, being fans of the NFL as a whole, we're paying attention to teams in our division. We're paying attention to big things that are happening around the league. And I'm going to start off with this one, though it's not a big thing. It is funny for Titans fans. Shout out to Nicholas Petit-Frere getting cut from whatever it was, rookie minicamp or whatever. Boy, did his career go down the drain. We thought there was some potential and some hope there, and then didn't look good, and then had the whole gambling crap and the injuries, and it just it's been a long spiral down the toilet. So there's that. Kind of funny. And then some of the other stuff. I mean, I'm curious to get your guys' takes on like what we're seeing so far from Travis. Looks like he's playing a lot more offense than defense, particularly. I mean, like I said, I was talking before, he can't be in two meetings at once. That's a lot to juggle NFL wise, as far as defense and offense. So curious to see what that looks like. And then the QB room to me is the other thing with the Indianapolis Colts. I mean, right now it looks like QB1 is Danny Dimes. And I guess QB2 is Anthony Richardson, who's also a rapper. So I don't know. I'm curious to get your guys' takes on some of that stuff.
If he can throw the ball.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the dude's had that shoulder injury for.
Since Harold Landry hit him last year.
Yeah, like forever, basically. And, you go through this offseason rehabbing, and I don't know if it's just another flare-up and they're just being cautious, but, like, the dude's not throwing passes.
Mm-hmm.
And
Which is funny because they love posting slow-mo videos of him throwing, and then, like, 3 days later, they're like, oh, he's injured, by the way.
Yeah, he can't throw. Yeah, I mean, and, like, as a football fan, you hope that he can stay healthy because, like, the potential is there. But as a Titans fan, you're like, like, okay.
Oh, I mean, the ability, like, if it all came together, this guy's like a freaking made in a lab.
Freak.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's an animal. I mean, he really is an animal. That's the reason he was a top 5 pick. But I don't know. I mean, he's an interesting one. Travis Hunter, I mean, like you said, he's playing a lot of offense. I think they're just trying to ease him in. Mm-hmm. I think it's also a lot easier. I don't know. It can
potentially
be a lot
is maybe
to just throw
easier
him out there.
Yeah, conceptually pick things up offensively. I mean, defense is another level in the NFL. There's so much more mental to it.
Yeah, and they're not. It's minicamp. They're not trying to get him hurt. They don't want to over practice him. Because if they're going to be a decent team, he's like at the forefront of that. So him and Brian Thomas Jr. is going to be a good duo if they can stay healthy, and if Trevor Lawrence can, throw the ball forward in any
that's
way,
honestly
shape, or form,
what it comes down to.
like, I mean, if
Trevor
Brian
Lawrence
Thomas
can
is a
stud, you don't got to worry about him. But
yeah, if Trevor Lawrence can not be Will Levis, I mean, that's a solid offense. So I mean, other than that, I mean, the biggest thing for me, like all that being taken in, not to jump boat here, but I don't know if y'all have kept up with the massive Shamar Stewart and the Bengals contract. Leading up to this, they didn't want to pay Trey Hendrickson. He's been asking for a pay increase. He's been asking for a contract renegotiation. They haven't really been doing anything. It seems like he's just going to walk at this point. But they're actually, with Shamar Stewart, their rookie defensive end out of Texas A&M, who was a top 20 draft pick. Dude has a lot of potential. They added a clause into his contract that basically said that if he gets injured, or if anything off the field were to happen, they can just void his contract completely and owe him nothing. And that's very scary for football players because injuries happen, right? I mean, injuries are a part of the game. Dude, you're not guaranteed another day of football. You go out there and you tear your ACL, who knows if you recover? You go out there and you have too many concussions, who knows if you recover? So it's this is also not a thing that happens, by the way. The Bengals are like one of the this does not happen in most contracts.
Yeah, they're pretty much not fully guaranteeing most of his contract. Is pretty much what it is.
Yeah, which is a problem for him and his agent, obviously, and it doesn't seem like either side's budging. I mean, at this point, they either take the clause out and he signs, or he's going to just not play, and we're going to see a situation that I don't think we've ever seen before, and he's going to be in the next year's draft as well to get redrafted, which would be insane.
And he cannot be picked by the Bengals.
Yeah, which is insane.
Yeah.
But it's crazy, man. I don't know. The Bengals, man, this is what happens when you tie so much money into Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, and Jamar Chase. You don't got money to pay other people. And so
now your defense is going to be worse. You drafted to get your defense better, and now you're going to be worse.
Yep, they're trying to take precautionary measures for the future, and it's just really biting them in the tail right now. I think they try to take advantage, and shame on them. They try to take advantage of a rookie guy coming in. This is why you get agents to read over
a rookie
your
guy
contracts.
that they need.
They need this guy.
Drafted him to be the replacement for Hendrickson.
It's like,
but this is why you always have people read these contracts, man. I'm sure this contract was like hundreds of pages long, and the average person's not going to read it and notice anything. But this is why you pay the big bucks to go get somebody to read it and to point this thing out to you, so he's not getting screwed over potentially. But that's my biggest thing. I think that's insane on the Bengals side. That's pathetic, honestly.
It's bad, but that is also, I don't know if y'all saw it, Easton Freeze put out an article not too long ago, pretty much saying that it's kind of the same thing that's going on why Femi hasn't signed his contract, is because there's a couple guys that got drafted in that top end of the second round that got fully guaranteed contracts from their teams, which doesn't really happen. And now there's a lot of these second round guys that still haven't been technically signed, and it's because they're trying to get that fully guaranteed.
Have
like
we
the guys
signed
before
him
them
yet?
went. No, he's the only one we haven't
I
signed.
will say it does seem, at least from the outside, that we're on.
I mean, he's going to be on the
footing.
team.
Yeah, because he's been there. It's not like Shamar's not showing up.
Yeah, he's just skipping out.
Which I can't
He's playing
blame
2K.
him. I'm not going to blame
He's playing
him.
2K.
Yeah.
We're seeing clips of him out there playing 2K during practice. Like, I mean, he's
and
out.
shout out T Sweat. I saw him on 2K in the rec lobby a few weeks ago. But yeah, it's
Was
just,
he a paint beast?
It's
Paint
no. I think
protector?
he was like a guard.
No?
Oddly enough,
of course.
So
Of course, yeah.
yeah,
Playmaking
but
shot creator.
it's it's just a weird thing right now that the NFL's, everything nowadays. Honestly, Kirk Cousins was a big proponent of all this because bro's guaranteed money over his career is crazy. Like his agent, like that dude, he's set. He makes sure his clients are set for life with all that guaranteed money. So, but that's that's the name of the game. For some reason, the NFL is one of those leagues like this. That's not really a normal thing either. Like for major sports to not guarantee money, like
Especially with the amount of money they're bringing in a year. Come on.
So
Come
no
on.
wonder these, like, people say sometimes they're prima donnas or whatever. People even have their thoughts about AJ wanting so much money, but it's like half the time AJ got a similar contract, the first one, that we were potentially looking to extend, a similar contract with Philadelphia that he could have gotten with us had he performed to a certain extent, because not all of it was guaranteed. He had to get certain things in order to, there's a word for that. It's slipping me right now. Like incentives. There were certain things he had to do for that. And that you just can't blame all that crap on the player. It is the NFL being cheap and trying to plan things for the future. And, for us, it did not end up working out that we did, lowballed him, and then we got screwed in the process.
Honestly, time out. If you want to talk about the root of the problem starts at the head of the dragon. And that is the fact that quarterbacks and extremely good quarterbacks are getting paid way too much freaking money compared to the salary cap.
Way too
You're talking
early.
about you got to have a 53-man roster and your quarterback is taking 50 to 60 million. Most quarterbacks that aren't
30% of your cap every year.
Yeah, they're taking 30% or more of your cap. I mean, Joe Burrow's getting paid $60 million a year. What's the cap? Like 240 something, 250 maybe.
I mean, it's gone up every year. So
I mean, come on, like that is just ridiculous.
and they floated that idea
and-
around of
yeah,
potentially bringing in a quarterback salary cap for quarterbacks.
yeah,
It
specifically.
needs to be done because
You're wondering why people are being stingy. It's because they have to. The quarterback's taking a third of the money.
But
crazy.
here's the thing: it's a double-edged sword, because these teams, like, look at this. We're going to be in the same spot in 4 years if Cam ends up being what we need him to be. We have to pay him, because if not, somebody else is, and then we're screwed again. So it's like, yeah, it sucks that we have to. It doesn't suck for Cam. Like, we want him to do well and want him to get all that money, but it sucks that we have to use this much of our team's money to do that, but we don't have any other choice, or else somebody else is going to do it, because all these other quarterbacks are getting the same thing or more. It's like every time somebody signs nowadays, it's like highest paid this, highest paid that. It's like it doesn't even matter anymore. They just have no choice but to go up. So I don't want to dwell on this too long, because it's kind of it can be a little bit of a boring thing for some people, but the money thing in the NFL is quite wild right now.
I do want to bring up one that we were talking about pre-show that I have written down. That Roller talked about is they're at minicamp but can't perform currently because of injury. Is L'Jarius Sneed.
Yeah.
We have where all the coaches and stuff have coming out saying, you know what, they're not worried about it. That he's obviously doing his rehab stuff. Everything, like Austin said, he's got the off-field case and everything, but it is a civil suit. So 99% chance he'll play if he's available. That's not even going to matter.
If Rashee Rice can drive 120 miles an hour and wreck somebody's car, he's going to be just fine. He's going to play. I promise he'll be okay.
This is my question. Say Snead comes out here and plays a couple games, injury flares back up, kind of the same year that we had last year with him. Does that go down as one of the worst trades and offseason signings that we've ever had?
I think it stacks. I think it stacks more onto bad moves that Rand made that in the present time we thought were so good, But now that a little bit of time has gone by, we're like, wow, that was a miss.
Well, and to Rand's
know?
credit, I mean, if Snead plays the way he did the year prior, even the year before that, like it's not a bad move. So that's a tough thing as a GM. Like it's it's a tough call, but he was high risk. And honestly, this is my honest take on it. He was high risk in terms of availability. We know what he can do when he's healthy, obviously. But my opinion is that you're going to see again this season, maybe even less than last season, he's not going to practice. He's just not. And if the expectation is for us is for that he's going to be ready Sundays, he best be ready Sundays. But they're not going to expect anything else, because if he is ready on Sundays and he's performing like we know he can, there isn't going to be any kind of expectation of him to practice. So I'm just kind of probably need to set that precedent for the fans. Like it's going to be worse than D-Hop. Like he's not going to be on the practice field. It just is what it is.
Which, I mean, there's pros and cons of that. Because
Yeah.
for me,
I mean, you need
like,
reps,
I
live
know
reps.
the player that he can be at his ceiling if he gets there again. I mean, he's the best corner in the league for sure. But that was him playing at Kansas City for multiple years with the same defensive guys on that team, compared to here where we had a lot of turnover, especially at the corner position.
Yeah, if Snead doesn't play, like if he same situation as last year misses, man, that corner room's in trouble. Because then you got either rookie Marcus Harris or one of these undrafted guys we got on the roster that are having to start. And something that we talked about a few episodes ago. I mean, you have to re-sign Roger McCreary now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's a must resign, because if you let Roger McCreary walk after this year, and who's playing corner? I mean, you got Brownlee there, but that's it. So you re-sign McCreary to where you have at least two guys that can play, and you can maybe try to make your way this season if Snead can't play, or if he does play, best case scenario, wonderful, all things are going great. But yeah, I mean, McCreary is a must re-sign at this point.
Yep. Well, with that, I want to kind of move into a new segment here that hopefully we'll come up with a better name for. But I just kind of have been throwing this idea around the last couple of days to do it here. But going to go into some of our essentially going to be biggest winners and or winner, and then biggest loser or losers of where we are now in terms of minicamp or whatever the case might be. So each of us can go around. I guess we'll do the I don't know. You want to do the loser or winner first?
Definitely. Let's do the loser first. Let's end on a high note.
So let's go the biggest loser for each of us. I'll go ahead and start because I know it's going to be different than y'all's, and hearing stuff on the radio makes me think about it. But let me just say this. Can we please stop talking? Okay, so I was listening to the radio, and somebody was talking about what's something that you wanted to see more of, or something like that. And these fans, more often than not, tweet or call or whatever, and they talk about, oh, well, we didn't give NWI enough of a chance to be like, and I'm like, stop, please, right there. Please, dear God. Like, look, we loved NWI last year. He was productive. Here's the thing. When I say that, I like the type of person and player that he was. He will never, ever be a 1 or a 2.
It's like the 50 Cent meme.
Me?
Yeah.
We did not love NWI.
No.
He was solid. I'll give you that.
Exactly, but that's
He
what
was
I'm
good for
saying.
3 games.
And then people are mad that we didn't re-sign him. People are mad that we didn't re-sign him.
Games.
Let me tell you something right now. How many rookies do we have? I would almost, because I'm a big Restrepo guy. I'm a big Restrepo guy. But Restrepo is going to be way better than NWI, in my opinion.
We'll see.
He's got to put the pads on first. We'll see.
But that's just my opinion. But I also want to say you have guys now like Chim DK, Tyler Lockett, Calvin, and Io Manor, who has been getting a lot of hype in camp. There's
Bryce
no
Oliver,
way.
man. Shout out Bryce Oliver.
I like him too. Like, and I'm not going to mention the other one because somebody else probably is. But the thing I'm saying is NWI is going to be an afterthought after this season, or should be. Like, yes, I realize our wide receivers haven't been good for the last while since he who shall not be named traded our best wide receiver ever away. But I don't think we're stuck in that pit anymore. We're not going to have the best receiving core in the league, but I think we will be okay. And Cam Ward makes a lot of people better. So
we just have a group of receivers that can actually run pretty much the whole freaking.
They're
route tree.
physical. Yeah,
They can run.
They're
in
more
general.
than just special
Just run.
teamers. Yeah.
Treylon Burks has been hobbling for 2 seasons, and everyone else has just been existing.
And so that's my biggest loser is these fans that think that NWI. Look, I like NWI. I hope he has continued success he's a really good role player. He does everything that you need to do right. He's just not what we need at this point in time. So get over yourselves. We will have more talent to talk about this year, and let's move on with that.
Same thing with NFL. Oh my God, we got to re-sign NWI. $8 million a year. Bro signed for $2 million for the Dolphins. He's going to be their wide receiver 5. He's below Braxton Berrios. Titans fans, wake up. Okay, if he went and signed like a $10 million deal somewhere, you know what? I'd have been like, okay, maybe we shouldn't let him go.
Look, if Buddy had to line up on a line and race Tyreek in a 40, they'd cut it.
Yeah, thank God he rejected that. I didn't want to watch him on the team again.
If he had to line up on a line and race Tyreek in a 40, they'd cut him. I mean, Tyreek
Waddle, or Jalen Waddle, like the whole roster.
Yeah, exactly, bro. Put freaking 2 out there, see who wins.
Yeah, dude, like jeez. Devon A-Chain could crawl.
Anyway, that was my biggest loser. It more so has to do with the fans. Like, just get over yourselves. We're in a better spot now, I believe. You know, if I'm wrong after this season, I'll admit it. But I think we'll be okay without NWI.
I'll let Roller go next because I think he might pick the same guy I have.
I'll give a shout out real quick. I know JP is going to listen to this, my boy Jared. There's one position group on the field that Jared just absolutely loves, and can anybody name that position? Drew, do you know?
You know, we're doing biggest
one.
loser. Are you being sarcastic?
Yes, this is the biggest loser. Actually, one of his favorite positions is tight end. He loves George Kittle. He was a big Travis Kelce fan before Travis Kelce became the Taylor Swiftie. He's always been a tight end fan. Tight ends win you ball games.
I should have gone first.
Whether it's running the football, whether it's passing the football. I'll tell you who the biggest loser of this whole camp is, and it is Josh Wiley.
Yes, sir. That was my pick.
It's Josh Wiley. All we have heard all mini camp long is Callahan and every single person in the world.
Don't go too deep on that. Don't go too deep on that.
Either way, everyone has been doing tricks, circles on freaking Gunnar Helm since he arrived, and I mean, what?
I said don't go too deep on that.
What can you not love about the guy? Biggest loser is Josh Wiley. Poor guy. I mean, Chig was obviously going to be above him. Gunnar Helm looks like a dog. He is a dog, and Josh Wiley honestly could get traded for pennies and nickels here. You know what I mean? If you go this season and he's not touching the field, he might be someone that gets traded or cut. I mean, at this point, he's just not. He always had the ability to semi be a pass catcher.
I got another one,
but he can't run block. And I don't know. That's my biggest loser. My biggest loser is Josh Wiley. End of story.
That was going to be my pick, which is exactly why I thought you were going to go with that. And yeah, I mean, I agree. I think he's definitely going to be, because even the guy that we had last year, the undrafted guy from Temple, he's was making plays.
Yeah,
David Martin Robinson, baby.
Yep.
Which that leads us into next couple weeks here doing our 53-man roster prediction. Got to look at how many tight ends are we keeping, right? Because last year we kept 5, only dressed like 2 or 3. Which is a big component of why.
Yeah, that's a no-no this year, by the way.
Well, I think it was a big component of why our special teams was so bad, dude, because we kept so many big, slow dudes.
Yeah, let's put all these 280-pound guys out there to chase these punt returners.
Anyway, moving on to my biggest loser. I had to sit here and make a new one on the spot because I knew I had an inkling Roller was going to choose this group.
Yeah.
I think this year, Titans fans will finally be the year where this player is no longer going to be able to scrap on this team because of a guy that we did not draft. That is on.
No way! This is the biggest loser.
I've the biggest,
maybe littlest
loser. Is it who
loser.
I think it is?
The biggest loser is finally going to be Mason freaking Kinsey.
He might be littlest loser,
dude.
He is littlest loser.
The fact this man is on our roster for all these years that we couldn't. Get, he was
what was the other guy's name? What was the other guy? Cody something.
Corey Levin. Corey Levin's still going to make this team.
Cody Hollister, bro. Yes. Mike Vrabel's favorite player. Yes, he's the same player.
But, dude, anyway, we haven't been able to kill Mason Kinsey off this team in years.
Practice squad demon.
And now we have all these receivers on our team. We have 9 receivers on our team.
Oh,
right
you
now.
can bet your bottom dollar he'll be on the P squad.
We're talking like, I mean,
It's fine as long as he's not on the 53.
he's the most sorry wide receiver I've ever seen. He's so bad.
God. So
Like, but like, props to him, man. He tries. He's just not good.
yeah, I mean, I don't know.
He could make it in like the the XFL, whatever they're calling it nowadays. Maybe he could go do that.
I mean, but that's
I'm
going to
not
be
trying to
mine.
be like that, but anyway, I'm going to move into my biggest winner because Austin already talked about
Drew,
it.
wait, hold on, Drew. What were you saying? Did you have anything else to follow up with that?
Well, I was going to say I'm going to snake it around like a fantasy draft, and I'll go first winner.
Okay.
All right.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
So we'll go biggest winner here from what we have. I'm going to throw in actually just an honorable mention for myself. It's not going to be who I have, but he's the honorable mention who I wanted to put here. Is Femi. I think Femi has had an incredible, offseason so far in terms of just production, leadership, just being super vocal the way that he is and wanting to work with Denard and everything. I just think he's going to be, like I said, he's my guy. That's my guy I'm a rock with from this class. Obviously Cam, of course, and DK being a Florida fan, but Femi gets me fired up, dude.
I'm sorry. All I can think about right now is Mason Kinsey running routes, dude. I don't think Titans fans understand. Like, our eyes are gonna burn watching horrible wide receiver play. Anyway, Drew, keep going.
Yeah, but for me, my biggest winner, I have no idea if you're even going to pick this guy or not, is going to be J.C. Latham.
Yeah. Okay, I like it.
Being over there, the right tackle, another guy that has slimmed up coming into the offseason. Had talks with both Callahans at the end of the season, saying that, his weight caught up with him. I think I was watching a video the other day where they said he started off the season at like 340 or something like that, 340 something pounds, and ended the season up at 360 and up in there. And you can tell, I mean, he was just getting blown up too much, getting beat around the edge, that kind of stuff. And now with him moving to right tackle in his normal position that he played in college, I think he's just going to, and they've came out and said that he's been our best offensive lineman in camp. And that's a big thing because, like Roller said, we got Zeitler now coming in beside him. A rookie guy that's been there, done that, can only help him build up in his, leadership role. And JC won't have to sit there Zeitler won't have to sit there as right instead of last year, have to worry about the tackle next to him not being on all fours every play, not
without even
everybody.
touching the defender.
Yeah, so mine's going to be J.C. Latham.
Oh man, oh man, what's the like yoga stuff that girls do nowadays? Because Nicholas Petit-Frere might have been the founder of it. What's it called? Not calisthenics. What's it called?
You talking about
Pilates?
Pilates,
dude.
It's not yoga, but
yeah. Petit-Frere has been doing Pilates on the football field for years now for the Titans. So Jesus, dude. Oh my Lord. Anyway, I'll do a special shout out too. My special shout out is
it's biggest winners.
Yeah, biggest winners. I'll do a special shout out. I'll do my shout out and I'll do my big winner. Honorable mention. There we go. Honorable mention. Yeah, I mean it's the linebacking room just overall. I think that Cody Barton. Look, we heard two things come out. Cam Ward was lighting it up at minicamp, and that Cody Barton picked off Cam Ward twice. Are we going to actually have a linebacker that can play some decent coverage? Like, is this going to be a first? Holy crap, man! Yeah, I mean.
You saw about the last one that they were thinking that Cam might have intentionally thrown that pick to Cody because Cody was on his team for the offseason point stuff.
I don't think so.
Because that's I know I'm not saying he did, but he even said in the interview afterwards, he's like, I'm kind of glad that it went to Cody.
He did joke
my
about
team
it
got
though.
Points.
Yeah.
There's been either way. Look, we haven't had a linebacker that can cover freaking me.
A blade of grass.
There. Yeah, they suck. But that's my shout out. Also, Otis Reesano is injured, but James Williams seems to be coming along well. So yeah, I mean, linebacker room seems to be taking a little bit of a step since last year with Kenneth Murray and that blunder of a fest. But we need Cedric Gray to step up, man. I mean, we hear that James Williams looking solid. We need Cedric Gray to step up big time. But anyway, I'll get to my my big winner, and my big winner is not a player. My big winner is our head coach.
I like it. I like it,
Mr. Callahan. And here's my reason why. All season last year, all Titans fans did fire Callahan, this, that, and the other. knowing that we had a bottom tier roster, knowing that we had one of the worst teams in the league on paper, on the roster, in general, on the field.
We had the number 1 pick in the draft.
We had the number 1 pick in the draft for a reason.
That's your answer.
The worst
and everyone, I feel like Callahan just got all this blame. I mean, and yes, sometimes first year play caller, he didn't do the best stuff, but like we had the worst quarterback in the league. We had the worst offensive line in the league. We had the worst wide receiving core in the league. We had the worst tight end duo in the league. Our only saving grace on offense was Tony Pollard.
Do y'all remember when we projected ourselves to win the division?
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy looking back on it now.
Which is going to be another video that we could do this year of schedule predictions as well.
Yeah, maybe we're gonna tone it down a notch this time and be like, you know what, we're not winning. We're not making the playoffs. We thought
Titans Super Bowl win is plus 22,000 on FanDuel right now. By the way,
maybe $1. Maybe throw some bones at it, but.
You might make
Callahan
10 cents on that dollar.
Callahan got so much crap last year.
Yeah.
And, like, dude, it wasn't even his fault with how bad this roster was. And all this great news coming out of camp. Cam Ward looks like a monster. J.C. Latham is back at home at right tackle. We actually have a wide receiving core. Oh, my gosh. It's unreal. It's unreal. The offensive line, I think, will be just fine. Receiving core looks good. Tight end room improved. Running back room, we got another running back, Khalil Mullings, who could be solid. Out of Michigan, Tajay Spears might be RB3. Don't want to jump the chain, but potentially. If he gets hurt again, just saying.
Yeah, the injuries is the only thing keeping him back.
The injuries is the problem, man. Injuries are a problem for him, big time. Either way, Callahan.
It ain't just injuries, it's concussions. That boy about to be Ben Jones.
Callahan should be the most ecstatic guy in the world because he can now run an offense that is not handicapped by multiple factors of the team.
I don't want to break you up.
Gosh,
I don't want to cut you off, but bro, this man Tajay Spears got a concussion wearing a Guardian cap that is supposed to help with concussions.
Yeah,
he's had some bad luck.
He's had some bad luck for sure. But Callahan, look, he's gotten a lot of crap. He should be ecstatic. He's got a young rookie quarterback that is lighting the field up. We got a team that seems to be an offense that might be able to move the ball. I mean, if you're him, you're smiling ear to ear. You can't wait to get on the practice field and put the pads on and see what you can do. So that's my biggest winner.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that. I would technically say I have 2 honorable mentions, but one of them is just.
I already know your biggest winner is.
One of them is just a no. Well, I said it earlier.
The jersey.
No, he's not my biggest winner. Austin freaking took it away.
I think his name starts with an X.
No, that's actually not. It's not. Listen. So two honorable mention, although one of them it's just you have to mention it because we all have, and it is Cam Ward. Like he has shown what we've needed to see. He's shown the leadership. He's shown interesting stories already as far as bro threw a pick on like his 3rd pass of the day and then proceeded to go 18 of 18 or something like that crazy to finish. Look, I realize this is practice and this is minicamp, but he has a different nature about him, and that's what everybody notices. I also like that he is encouraged by when he throws interceptions. He's like, what do I got to do to fix this? What do I get? It's just all very progressive thinking. Like we know the talent that he has, and then add in the work ethic that we've heard about. I'm really excited. And shout out Tubi for picking up there. It sounds like they're going to do a little mini series on him coming up in September. So I think that'll be cool to watch. And Titans fans, before you freak
it'll be
out,
interesting. I don't know.
Everybody's saying don't do what Will Levis did and be on all these commercials.
The 6-episode thing is kind of crazy to me. Like,
but it's because it has to do with the 0-star to the 1st round pick. It doesn't have to do with now.
Do you need?
Well, I mean, it'll be fun to watch. I'm not saying and I know everything about it. I'm just saying it'd be cool. So anyway, my actual honorable mention, yes, it is Xavier Restrepo. Xavier Restrepo has had targets, and let me just preface this by saying it's not just Cam. All of the quarterbacks are finding him because he's quarterback friendly. He works hard. He's in the film room. He's yada yada, add anything you want. I'm not saying he's going to be the guy. I just think he has done what I hoped that he would be able to do in camp already, and people are talking about him. So I personally think he's an easy lock to be on the roster. Doing what he's done helps, obviously, but the camaraderie he has with Cam, I'm not saying he's going to be on the field every play. He's going to be a number 3, all that. I just think he'll be a solid role player for us. And so that's really just my opinion on that. But biggest winner does go to the other side of Austin's biggest loser here, and it is Gunnar Helm. I think I think you're going to see this guy on the field a lot. He's going to be a security blanket. And I hate to throw this. I don't throw this comparison out there lightly because obviously we know where he's at in the tight end ranks ever. But Travis Kelce is the type of player that I see with him. Like in terms of ability, he's got really good hands. His catching traffic, his finding open holes in zones to be that security blanket. And then he gets the ball, and for some reason is really good at run after the catch, even though he's not really that fast.
He's like jogging, but somehow
It looks like he's jogging.
One thing
but
I want
go
him
watch
to
his
get rid
Texas
of.
film. So
One thing I want him to get rid of, and I bet they've already hammered this down, is you watch his film and you go look at how many times he was hurdling people.
Oh yeah,
Bro's got to quit that.
it's pretty crazy the fact that he did some of that. But
he's
yes,
that
I agree.
athletic though. Like that's
Just
crazy.
run a person over. Like don't jump over him. Just
Yeah.
get those up.
One thing I want to bring up though that I know we didn't put him on our list just because I think we all kind of expected it from him is Calvin Ridley.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, big time.
The amount of stuff you see coming out about him about he's treating every single rep like it's the last freaking play of the game. He's going super hard.
And the connection he's already got going with Cam.
Yeah, but I think that
That's
also
huge.
stems from kind of how we've been kind of talking about this whole time with competition. I mean, he's not going to get his spot taken by no means, but having guys in there that are like that are young guys, and he even talked about it that are, having guys that are in there that are young guys that want to work just as hard as him. We haven't had it.
Yep.
We haven't had it, so that only pushes. That's what I'm saying, man. These young guys are going to push.
There's a
our
hunger.
Existing guys like Simmons, like Ridley, like Hooker, Snead, whatever you want to call it. All these older vets that are good and leaders, whatever you want to call them, are younger guys that are these guys that are coming and want to work as hard as they do, want to lead as good as they do. Yep. It's only going to fire everybody else up, man.
Do you think one of the rookie wide receivers starts?
I think Iomenner to me is a lock for a starter
over DK.
Yeah.
To me,
I like
it depends on what we do because I think I'm curious to see what we do with Lockett. Yeah,
Iomenner. Lockett's going to be there he's going to be so much better than Tyler Boyd ever was.
That's the thing, though.
I can promise you that.
He'll probably play like 60% of the snaps.
Yeah.
I think DK
and he's
going to
be your
snaps
slot
as well.
Well, I think DK and Lockett are going to switch out because
I agree.
DK's I know we're here at the 56-minute mark or whatever.
Yeah.
But we can use him however. I mean, it's like Tyreek Hill. You put him in motion, you can use him however.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree.
Can I do one honorable mention real quick because I definitely forgot. I forgot to say my favorite player from this whole class, and I'm getting his jersey because I can't wait, and I can't wait to see this guy on the field.
Jackson Slater.
But one of the best news that we got, we forgot to mention this earlier in the video. One of the best news that we got is that Kevin Winston freaking Jr. is 85% ready, and he is going to be ready to go at training camp. And I cannot wait to see this guy in pads, and I can't wait to see this guy running around the field. This dude has been putting in work, even on the sidelines. He hasn't been able to fully participate. He's been about 85%, according to Coach Callahan. But I cannot wait. I mean, dude, this guy just tore his ACL, partially torn. My bad. I don't think it was a full tear. Back in October or November, and the fact that he is 85% healthy and he is going to be ready to go at training camp, and this dude has not skipped a freaking beat. I'm telling you, somebody warned Shamir DK about running across the middle because he might lose his head. I mean, I'm serious. This dude is going to be laying dudes out. Not in our practice, but I'm just saying, I can't wait to watch this dude play because this dude is going to hit people, and he is going to hit people hard. And we have not had it. You talk about enforcement earlier, and Jeffrey Simmons just wanting to hit people and wanting to hit them hard. This dude hits people hard. I'm sure this dude is laughing when he hits people. This dude is sick in the head.
Dot your I, cross your T. He is exactly what Denard Wilson is looking for.
He is. He's gonna be a physical Kyle Hamilton.
Yes,
I'm not saying he is Kyle Hamilton. I'm just saying he's gonna hit people like
Shout out Kyle Hamilton.
Does. Yeah, Kyle Hamilton's the best safety in the league.
Yeah.
I'm not saying Kevin Winston is that. I'm saying he likes
that
to
type
hit people
of player for sure.
Like Kyle Hamilton. Oh, he loves. They both just like to come hit people.
Yeah,
that's just what you need.
And that's a great segue because you talk about him being ready for training camp. And that's the question for Titans fans, for us right now. What's next? What's next is, ladies and gentlemen, we got 4 weeks, and then we'll be into the thick of it, football wise. If you're nerds, if you're nerds like us, we'll be doing. I think we have a couple of different joint practices, which I love.
Buccaneers is first.
You need some of that. So we got Tampa, and then we'll be right into preseason. And ladies and gentlemen,
Seattle.
We'll be rolling
Second.
Yeah, it sounds right.
Yeah,
so
Atlanta week 1, I know for sure.
and so we'll be rolling. So that's what we're at. So we do unfortunately have to wait another month, but we have 4 weeks, and then football will be back. So that's good. I know we're going to talk. We need to get out more episodes. More. We've been talking through that, and schedule wise, hopefully we'll be getting these out to you quicker. But yeah, looking forward to it. I mean, obviously got the jersey. I know Drew's got some guys, and Austin's gonna have a Winston jersey.
I got some potential
Yep.
roster cut candidates.
Yep.
Right here behind me, I have the worst jersey look ever imaginable. But I have 2 guys here. We have a video coming up. Don't know if it's next week, whatever. For sure, going to do a 53-man roster prediction video.
Yep.
That'll be pretty fun to go over. Definitely another schedule, prediction video. And then I'm down again.
We're running it back.
Fantasy football.
We're running it back.
I'm running it back.
We're running it back. Chris Jenkins, I know you're watching. And, if you listened to me last year, you might have been a league winner because I called it here first last year. Said Terry freaking McLaurin, draft him in one of those later rounds, and he ended up being like wide receiver 4 or 5, and dude was an absolute monster. Missed on a couple picks. Rashee Rice getting hurt really, really killed me.
And if we're patting ourselves on the back here, I got to say, shout out to your boy for picking Jahmyr Gibbs, running back 1, because bro is a lightning bolt. He's ridiculous.
A lot of people in that video laughed at me for picking Brock freaking Bowers.
That dude is a
monster. Shout out to him too. He was a dog.
But that's 3 videos right there for sure. We can come up with whatever. If you want us to see, let us do anything that you want to do. Just let us know in the comments.
Yep.
Make sure to follow our TikTok at InBetweenTheSticks. And now we do have a brand new Instagram account at InBetweenTheSticks Pod. I'll put both of those here in the description, where we'll also be posting, clips and everything else on there. So to me, another great episode. Like I said, trying to get these out more consistently. But obviously off-season stuff happens. We got stuff going on. But we'll try to get those out for you. I don't know if y'all have any other closing stuff y'all want to go over.
No, sir. I just say it's always a tighten up for me, and it's Cam Ward season, baby.
Nothing for me. Just tighten up. That's it.